Hello, I'm Dwight Norris of FishNetwork.com, and I'm here to help you go fishing. Tonight, we'll be reviewing the Schumacher SC1360 battery charger. Now, I purchased this when I got my full line of stuff for the Saturn SD488 16-foot inflatable boat. I will tell you the truth. Last night I actually made this video. It was 21 minutes long and didn't have my mic turned on. Lots of but no sound. Really frustrating because I loaded with such valuable content, but it wasn't captured in sound. So tonight I'm doing it again, and I think I mentioned this in my previous video that I made this mistake. So if you're making videos on YouTube, make sure you always do a mic check. Now tonight I actually happened to be at the Boston Red Sox game where they played the Chicago White Sox, and in the 7th inning I got on the Jumbotron. Check out this picture. It's pretty hard to see. Let me see. It's not good. Anyway, I'm on the Jumbotron, dancing, 'cause that's what they like to see on the Jumbotron. And it was a good game. We won, at least when I left at the 8th inning. And I suspect at the 9th inning, it ended with a win. I'll check that later. But I suspect that we finished the game with a win. So, back to the review. Now, I bought this charger hoping that it would do the work for me. This is a smart charger. It does the boost, which some people like or don't like. It does the manual charging, which is good, and it does a trickle charge to maintain. And it does this all from its little computer system that knows what's going on. It knows what voltage battery it is. It knows what actual percentage is charged, and it knows when to shut off and go into maintain mode instead of overcharging the battery and just moving forward. So I'm gonna actually initiate the charge and show you firsthand how it works, and two, talk about some things that maybe you should consider if you're thinking about getting a battery charger for your kayak or your boat or whatever. So first, let's go over this website. As you see here, it's batterychargers.com, but it's owned by Schumacher. So it's obviously a piece of hardware that's probably not American made, but that doesn't mean anything. It's really good, it has great reviews, and it does several things. Now first, I want to go to the Amazon site, which is where I purchased it. There are several different versions that they have, and one is the 15 amp. I didn't want it because it's only one choice. And then they have this version, which is the 3 and the 15 amp, has two choices. And I was like, two choices. That's really cool. But what about this one? This one right here. Three choices. Three is better than one. Three is better than two. So I'll go with that one. It doesn't seem overly expensive. It gives me some options. It gives me some controls. And maybe it's pretty good. I'll give it a try. And that's why I purchased this one. It really simplistic. It had more options than the rest of them. So let me tell you what the 3, 8, and the 15 amp is for. The 3 amp is for maintaining. This is your trickle charge. This is what keeps it at 100% once it's reached that mark. And it only turns back on once it's gone below 100%. So you're constantly at 100% no matter what. If that's important to you, awesome. It does that. The 8 amp is for when it's charging. Say right now, this current battery, I have an Interstate battery right down here, which is my secondary battery, which I had to go to on Saturday when I went all the way to Boston from Watertown and tried to go back. And I made it to Alston, and I just couldn't make it that last half mile. It didn't completely burn out, but it went so slow that the wind and the current were making me go nowhere. So I had to plug it in, and boom, I was off again. Off to the races. The 15 amp is a boost. I don't really like the boost. It's really fast, it's really strong, and I was told by some other notable people that I shouldn't get something that's not a trickle charger because it's possible that the electronics could be wrong and overcharge your battery and then destroy it and reduce its life. But I want something that knows what it's doing. I don't want to have to watch over my trickle charger because if you stop watching your trickle charger and it keeps going, then you still overcharge. But I think there's some new trickle chargers that actually shut off too once they reach their certain percentage. You can't quote me on that, but because I haven't actually researched it or looked at that kind of thing. But take my opinion on it. So without further ado, let's plug this puppy in and start charging this utilized battery here. My Interstate battery, and like any other battery, comes with a cover for the positive charge. This little red cover here, and it has the screws that go on the parts where you put your trolley motor on. I'm taking that off, opening this puppy up, and pulling it out. Boom, there it is. Here is the charger. As you see here, it has two sets of cables. One is the alligator clips with the positive and the negative. And if you don't understand what red and black means for your battery cables, it's marked, so you'll know. This is the positive plus mark, and this is the negative mark. Simple, easy, anybody can understand. Now, this is the cable. You plug it into the wall, boom, no problem. Now, with this particular system, you have to plug the alligator clips on the battery first. And I'm going to give you a little quick tip about how to do this and do it quickly each and every time. So, when you're adding your cables to your battery, you want to make sure you're doing a positive. Positive is addition, and addition means adding. So that's what you do first. If you're removing your cables, you're doing a negative. You're doing minus. Therefore, you're doing your negative cable is first. Adding, positive. Removing, negative. Simple, right? When I learned that, I was like, wow, all those years of doing it on my old Chevy Blazer and trying to make sure I got it right instead of having the possibility of electrocuting myself, and it was that simple to remember. Wow. So positive first because I'm adding, and then negative after that, and it's reversed when I'm removing it. So as you can see here, it's plugged in, but there's no power because you haven't plugged the power cable in. So we're going to plug that up. I'm going to show you what happens when it plugs in. What you're going to see is that there are some options here. I don't know if you can see this very well, but right over here is the type of, it's one type of battery. These are both showing the types of battery that it is. Over here, it tells you that it's either a cold start, cranking amps, or it's a marine battery, which it has a boat symbol. Very, very obvious, this choice. But over here, a little more different. Right here, you have your standard battery, which is the one that you can fill up. You can add water and stuff to it, and it's not sealed. It's kind of hard to find those now. That's the first level. In the middle is what we have, which is an AGM, but it's a sealed battery. That's basically what it is. And at the bottom, we have the gel. And the gel is those batteries which see are new age, and they have those circular tubes going through it, and they're super cool, but the reviews are bad because sometimes they just don't handle charges very well. So we're going for the middle. We're getting the marine deep cycle battery, and then we're getting the AGM battery right here in the middle. And these two little lights are going to light up, and the one in the middle is going to light up, and that's called on. You'll see that. And if you happen to make it to 100%, this bottom one will light up and it's green. It'll tell you that it's now in maintain mode, which means it's going to do 3 amps. So let's plug this puppy up. Here we go. See the lights coming on? Watch. Boom. Right there it's telling you the voltage that your battery has is 12.6. Now let's look over here on the screen as I find my mouse. I'm going to reduce my screen here so you can see what's going on. Right over here, the instructions for the Schumacher state that 1. Read the voltage on the digital display. Keep in mind that this reading is only a battery voltage reading. A false surface charge may mislead you. Compare the reading to the following chart. So if it's a 12-volt battery, obvious that we know that. If it's 12.8 volts or more, it's charged. Leave it alone. This is not 12.8, it's 12.6, so it's below it. Which means if it's 12.2 to 12.7, it needs charging. Therefore, this needs charging. This is our guideline here. If things feel wonky or weird or you're not quite sure, always go by this little chart here. Very important. Now, as I said before, these are the different types. To start this, I think if you just choose which one you're doing. So first we're going to choose the Marine Deep Cycle Battery. And then we're going to choose the AGM. So you just hit it twice. Boom, that's selected. I'll go over here. That's selected, and watch it turn on. Click on. Now it's charging. You see, it's decided this is a 12-volt battery. Fantastic. It's not being wrong and saying it's 6 volts, so it knows what's going on. And next it'll show a percentage that this battery is charged. 77% is what it believes it's charged at. So it's going to continue until it reaches 100. And at that point, it'll be well over 13 volts when that happens. I'm not going to do this right now, but as you can see, it's going to go between the volts and the percentage over and over again. But after a period of time, I think about 2 to 3 minutes, this display will go off. These lights will go off except for the one in the middle, which is called on. Only that one will stay on, and all this will turn off. It's like a cost-saving system. Now, every now and then, about 2 hours or so, you'll hear this fan come on to cool down the transistors and all the circuit board stuff on the inside. So don't be alarmed when you hear that. That needs to happen to keep everything cool. Hey, cool. Look, now the display is turned off and it only shows on. So when you see this, don't be like, oh no, it turned off. It's not working anymore. As long as it says on, it's charging. Just leave it alone. But if you want to see where you're at, oh, I wonder what percentage is that. You just click this button, either one of the buttons, and boom, it's on again. Well, look. We went up a percentage point from 77 to 78. Now, one thing about this is that you don't really have a choice of when the boost turns on versus the regular 8 amp charge. So if it decides that I'm going to boost the rest of this battery up just to get it quickly to the max percentage, that's the way it's going to be. I only saw this once, and that's when it was above 85%. Whenever it's below that, it usually uses the 8 amp standard charge, and it doesn't switch to the boost when it reaches 85%. It just stays that way. But if you so happen to plug it in when it's almost near full, it will use that 15 amp boost to pump it up really fast again because it assumes that you're charging it at this percentage because you want it to be at 100 really fast so you can get back on the water. So that makes sense for me, but I've been told from several people that using these types of systems that aren't trickle charge could possibly overcharge a battery and reduce the life of the battery. Now, my battery cost 100 and just about $30, and about $25 of that was because I didn't have cables from the previous system to trade in. The cables that they asked for, I'm not really sure. They're the ones you can get from a car, they're the ones you can get from a boat if you have an actual boat, but I had nothing. Like, this is the first time I'm buying a battery. I just got a boat. I'm just getting a battery for my trolling motor. Why the hell do I need to turn in a stupid cable that I don't have? Is there no law saying that if this is your first time getting a battery, you don't have to turn in stuff? You know, they're just making stuff up to freaking tax you on. It's Massachusetts. It's the way it is. Make a tax. Don't think about any of the discretionary things on the side that could make them null and void. Give us our money. Shut the hell up. Anyway, now I've gotten off that rant. The system actually works very well. I've used it several times now. I think this is the 5th time. It charges very well, very consistently. It rates the voltage good. It doesn't overcharge. It goes into the maintain mode very easily. It cools itself down. It shows and displays the percentages that are pretty consistent to the percentage that I see on the trolling motor. Now my trolling motor shows 25%, 50%, 75%, and 100. And last time I burned it out, about halfway, it went to, it just gotten to 50%. And I only used it for about 10 minutes after that point. When I got home, lo and behold, 49% was what this thing was showing. I was like, wow, that's pretty consistent with what I saw on a trolling motor battery power gauge. So with those two key benchmarks, I can say that this works pretty well with figuring out what percentage your battery is at. It's not that bad. It's pretty good. It's a $75 item on Amazon, or a hell of a lot more if you go straight to their website. $145 here. Not quite what I want to talk about. And here's your reference of what it is. 15 amp rapid charge, 8 amp charge, and 3 amp maintain. And it charges a 6 or 12 volt battery. Now, there's lots of things I could talk about here within the instruction manual, but those aren't really important. What's important is, one, what you're using it for. You have a John boat, or you have an inflatable boat, or you have a, I don't know, you have a bigger boat where you have a trolley motor and you're looking for something to charge those things. Most boats that are in the water most of the time have a N boat version, which doesn't have, like, you know, a carrying handle and all that stuff. It's built in, it's really slim, and it's constantly charging. So that's not really a big deal. You just plug it into the wall once you bring it home and it's done. This is really for systems that are different. But for what everybody needs for doing their boats, this is pretty good. I have no real complaints. It solves some of my problems. It's easy to do the charge, and I couldn't be any happier for my purchase. I set it and forget it, and I don't have to worry about it possibly blowing up. It does what it needs to do, and it charges effectively. So I'm going to continue with this until I see a problem. If there is a problem, I'll probably discover it in year 2, because by then, if it's been overcharging, it will have a negative effect on my batteries. If it lasts longer than 3 years, I'll know that it's done its job, and it's a very clear and consistent winner for a battery charger, and I can continue going with Schumacher brand's battery charger from there on. Otherwise, I'll have to switch to a trickle charger and do the hard work of making sure I unplug it when it's reached capacity. So, if you have any questions, comment down below. If you have any suggestions about what I should be using other than the Schumacher SC1360, please comment down below. Do all the socials, Instagram, I'm on Facebook, etc., etc. Like this page, subscribe if you want to see more. I'll be doing more reviews, a lot more. I have lots of things to review, and I'll also be doing a lot of fishing from the shore and also from the boat on the weekend. So what I want to say is, make sure you get outside and you go fishing whenever you foresee it. Just today, I did a fishing before work episode, and I really want to know what your number one problem is, because I want to help you solve it. Whatever is blocking you from going fishing more often, I want to find a solution for you. But for right now, take all the information I've given for free and utilize that to go fishing whenever you want and whenever you can. And if you say you can't, there is a way.